My name is Diego Antonio, and I will to talk to you about the fear of living in a pandemic due to COVID-19. The pandemic caused us to radically change our daily routine due to the mandatory isolation. We had to avoid getting infected. Many people were very afraid of being in a pandemic for fear getting infected. In addition, anxiety and stress levels skyrocketed due to the mandatory social distancing and sudden change in routine. One of the fears of living in the pandemic was that it affected the economy, since its growth level in China was one of the lowest in 3 decades, causing the closure of jobs and factories. There's definitely a big difference between the Cold War and the pandemic, because in the Cold War you had to be evacuated 13 miles away from downtown Seattle in case bomb hits. Recording the pandemic, one of the ways to survive was to stay at home and maintain good hygiene. It was very painful to live in the context of the Cold War because it affected children, children and adults. They allowed to live in fear that they could die uh, at any moment if they failed to evacuate in time.
Hello, my name is Gianfranco Fernandez, and I will talk about the confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union in the popular Cold War. The war focuses in the conflict was a struggle between the models of political, social, and economic organization of the two superpowers, where the United States followed the ideal of capitalism, and while Soviet Union followed the ideal of communism. The world had just witnessed with the Second World War. Uh, it had been overcoming the consequence that this disaster had brought with it. With the beginning of the Cold War, citizens feared the wars since both countries were manufacturing atomic weapons. In addition, the economic crisis due to the Second World War has just been overcome. In relation to the pandemic, both disasters caused us fear at the beginning of each one. Consequences such as economic crisis that homeless people. On the positive side, post Cold War, uh, it was the technological advances, for example, the computers, GPS, cell phones, etc. In the pandemic, we have a positive that there was care of green areas, progress in hygiene, etc. Both disasters marked before and after in the world, both positively and negative.